Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Rewind That. It's your girl Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we're going to be going over the latest episode of P-Valley Season 2, Episode 9 called Snow. So the episode starts off with Andre's raunchy and highly unprofessional ad campaign where he has all these scrippers dancing around him and promoting the casino referendum. Then we have Pastor Patrice coming down on a float and she's twerking on a pole. And for me, guys, it was definitely unexpected, but a great way to start the episode, okay, in my opinion. Anyway, she tells the people that her opponents tried to bribe her out of the race, but she ain't take the money, y'all. Instead, she was making it rain on the crowd, okay, and all while telling them not to trust Andre. And I did notice that Haley didn't seem bothered at all. In fact, she was quite amused, okay, laughing and everything. So it's clear that she thinks that they got this in the bag. Next, we see grandmother Ernestine in the hospital, and she is still hallucinating and seeing her daughter, who is trying to offer her a drink of water. Of course, we know that it's really one of the nurses trying to give her the water, but grandmother says, I don't want it. A bee ain't thirsty. So she's still funny even though she's out of it. One thing that I keep noticing is that grandmother Ernestine doesn't want to take anything from dead people, okay guys? She says it's a Lil Murda in episode 7 when we saw that she kept having those dreams and hallucinations, right? Some people think that if you take something from a dead person or sit at a table with them during a dream, it means you will soon join the dead. And if that's the case, at least grandmother is trying to stay alive, y'all, okay? She fighting, y'all. Next, after Keyshawn goes over her plan of escape with Haley, she goes into the kitchen to fill her water bottle and runs into Diamond. So I guess these two have been trying to avoid each other, but of course they can't do that for long, right? So Diamond tells Keyshawn that he can fill her water bottle for her. And when they come face to face, he sees that she's still wearing the stone of courage around her neck. So she tells him that it does work, and that even though the big bad wolf swallowed the key, her hair is long enough now. So she can escape that tower, y'all. But before Diamond could respond, Big Bone interrupted and asked if the wings were ready because she may be thirsty, but I'm hungry. And I was just thinking like, okay, well, you got the nerve to say that Keyshawn is thirsty, when I do recall Big Bone acting very thirsty that night she offered Diamond a ride on her motorcycle. Bye, girl. Anyway, next, we see Mercedes struggling on the pole again, and Roulette had to put her 2 cents in and tell Sadie that she should have been stepped back on the pole, because that break only made it worse, and now she's spooked. So her and Sadie get into each other's faces, and they have some words. Now, number one, I like how Sadie was like, girl, folks around here know I loves to play a game of Russian roulette. And number two, I don't like how Roulette keeps referring to Mercedes as old, okay? Now, maybe she's too old to be a stripper, but she's only 30, okay? And 30 is not old. And I think that is something with this generation where they're quick to call someone old that's like, 28 and over probably, it seems. But I know one thing. They better pray to get that old because these days, them young folks be dropping like flies, okay? And it is not funny. Anyway, Mercedes tells everyone to have to open the night without her after Haley tells her that she thinks she should base for Keyshawn. Of course, Sadie was pissed about that because she feels like it's Haley's fault in the first place, that she's in the situation. And Mercedes was clearly bugging out by talking about murder night in front of Big Bone and the rest of the folk that didn't know what happened that night. Anyway, Haley tried to throw a shot and tell Mercedes to stop blaming her and blame herself. Now, the shot comes in when she tells Sadie to pick up those wings. The sun melted off her back. So this seems to be a reference to a character from Greek mythology named Icarus, who had wings made of feathers and wax, and when he flew too close to the sun, it melted his wings and he fell to his death. Because of this myth, the saying, don't fly too close to the sun, was created. And the saying is a warning to people who become overly ambitious, and their climb to the top ultimately leads to their downfall, or even leads to others being harmed, okay? Now, we saw Mercedes be a little too ambitious when she decided to climb the pole that night in an attempt to show off and steal back the attention from Roulette and Whispers. She knew her arm was jacked up, but she decided to climb up the pole anyway. Why? Because people who tend to fly too close to the sun can also feel like they're all powerful. They take confidence in their own judgment. They display contempt for advice and criticism from others. and they ignore practicality or the cost of their endeavors, okay? And we've seen this time and time again with Mercedes, guys. She definitely doesn't like to take advice because she feels like she's the queen bee, and she got this, all right? And listen, she definitely was the queen bee for a while. That's that bottom bee, you know? But there comes a time where you got to pass the torch and just be a mentor for the ones coming up behind you, because you can't stay on top forever. You know, so I say all that to say that Haley was throwing shots by letting Sadie's know that if she wasn't trying to show off that night, she wouldn't have been in this situation. And obviously I'm talking about that night where it was like Roulette and Whispers were headlining along with Mercedes, I guess. It was 3 of them on the stage, and it was kind of like that little reopening situation. I think it was episode 1 or 2. But anyway, guys, that's the situation. And we see that Mercedes is feeling defeated. She goes out and she leaves, and Uncle Clifford runs after her. And she's like, just tell me the truth. Is Keyshawn better than me? And my thing is with this scene is like, all right, if Keyshawn is better than you, so what? You know, Mercedes, you've been wanting to leave the club. You've been wanting to do different things. You wanted to retire. So who cares if Keyshawn is better than you? You know what I mean? Like I said, it's time to let other people fly and just take the spotlight. It's okay, you know, but Mercedes is struggling right now to just come to grips with that. But we do see that she gets the encouragement that she needs from her conversation with Murda. And I love how Murda was telling her, you know, you still make a ninja nervous, you know, and it made her blush and it boosted her confidence. And, you know, to let it be known that she's a legend. So I really loved that for her, even though she's had a big head in the past, but that's my girl. You know, sometimes it happens. People need to be humbled a little bit, but also she needs to be picked back up, you know. She's been through a lot, and I'm always rooting for Mercedes, okay? We also see that she gets a boost of confidence when she meets up with Farrah. And Farrah got this whole art gallery going on with pictures of Mercedes, and it's just really beautiful and showing that what she does is a art, like we've heard Mercedes tell her mother before, it art. Okay, so let's move on from that. Next, it's time for the grand reopening. And we see this chick Haley thrown up in a dirty, disgusting toilet, okay? And the fact that this chick is the one that lives there, it's nasty on her part, because if y'all don't got nobody to clean the toilet, then you should be cleaning the toilet, Haley, you know? Like, hello, and you got the nerve to be trying to tell somebody how to stay rich. How does a bee stay rich? By not paying rent. No, you can't give nobody no daggone advice when you living in the place that you live in with a dirty toilet. But we used to Haley roughing it, as we saw in the past season where she was living with newspapers for curtains, okay? Let me move on. So then we get to Toy, and she had the nerve to come up into the Pynk. And finally, Uncle Clifford took a stand and said, girl, get the heck out of my establishment, okay? This is something that Uncle Clifford should have did long ago when she was sneezing during the daggone pandemic, talking about it's some freaking allergies. No, if you would have did this a long time ago, Uncle Clifford, grandmother would not be in this situation, okay? So start being a little proactive, buddy, all right? I hope that Uncle Clifford definitely gets to keep the Pynk. I think that is what's going to happen. And when he does, that he's going to really learn from a lot of these lessons that he was taught during this pandemic and after the pandemic, right? Like, take precaution, you know. You're going to have to play some hardball a little bit with these people, even though you love them. We appreciate that about you, Uncle Clifford, but sometimes you got to put your foot down about certain things. And then let's also be careful about the spending habits, okay? Like, I just want him to learn lessons, all right? Next, Murda makes an announcement with Tina Snow that they coming through to the Pynk, and that draws a crowd, okay, guys? Okay, first of all, the entrance was everything. Very dope, right? But when they get there and he shows up with Tina Snow, Uncle Clifford is like, can I talk to you for a minute? Like, what the heck are you doing? Don't be trying to tell me how to run my business and all of that stuff. And Murda is like, excuse me for trying to help you out, you know? But I also thought this scene was kind of funny because Uncle Clifford was looking like, what the heck is going on here, when he saw the interaction between Lil Murda and Tina Snow. And obviously he was a bit jealous, you know, but Lil Murda, since he in the closet for right now, he got to keep up the facade, you know what I'm saying? Then Uncle Clifford's backstage manager, whoever she is, okay, she comes in and tells Uncle Clifford that there's somebody waiting for him in the Paradise Room. And Lil Murda was like, since when do you get clients in the Paradise Room? So, he was showing his little jealousy. So I was like, look at this here. Anyway, next we also see Toy crying, okay, because she just got fired. So Whispers is trying to help, bless her heart. And she says that Roulette will take care of her because Roulette comes out and she sees Toy crying and all of this stuff. Long story short, guys, she gives Toy a wad of cash because Toy is saying that stuff is hitting the fan. Her finances are, just not cutting it for her. Cars about to be taken, rent need to be paid, all that kind of stuff. So when she gives her the wad of cash, she basically was letting it be known that, girl, you work for me now, okay? So Toy has made the decision to hoe it up with Roulette and Whispers. We shall see how far that's going to go, guys, okay? Now we get back to the Paradise Room where it's Corbin, and he's in there waiting for Uncle Clifford. We talked about this on my live last night where Corbin decides that he wants things to go back to the way they used to be, where he was a friend of the Pynk, okay, and used to come up in there and have all his kinky wishes fulfilled, all right? So tonight, he wants to get his behind tore up, and he wants it done by Uncle Clifford, and he is willing to pay $250,000 for that, okay? And of course, Uncle Clifford is not going to turn this down. Now, I am hoping that Uncle Clifford will surprisingly buy Haley out and say, chick, get the heck up out of my establishment, the same way that he told Toy to get up out, okay? Now, I will have a huge smile on my face when and if that happens, okay? Next, we got Tina Snow, and she's performing, and you got Keyshawn doing her thing on the pole as usual. You got Whispers doing her thing too now, okay? But Keyshawn is dancing and giving her all. And even Maine says to Mercedes, man, she up there dancing like this her last. And Mercedes says, I think it is. So when he asks why she wasn't up there in her floors, she was like, sometimes a bee want to just sit back and get blessed by some art. And I definitely like the fact that she kind of had this turnaround where it was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let somebody else have their shine. So that was cool to see Mercedes' little turnaround. And I just hope that in next week's episode, we're going to see her trying to make some business moves. Because now that she see that what she does is an art, it's time to get that money, sis. And especially if you link up with Farrah, you're definitely going to get some money, okay? Now, Murda comes on the stage, and him and Tina are performing together. And of course, these ninjas don't know how to act. They start fighting and all that stuff. Somebody actually comes up on the stage to try to get to Murda, and it's just an all-out brawl. So the night it basically is ruined, all right, guys? So we got Uncle Clifford trying to calm Murda down backstage, and he finds out that he done put in some work, okay? It took a life. Now, Uncle Clifford is like, is that mess that I helped you clean up the other night? And he was referring to the situation with Teak. And Lil Murda says, no, that ain't what happened at all that night. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, in this scene, Uncle Clifford tells Murda that maybe you could borrow Diamond when you go out on tour because you really gonna need it. You're gonna need that protection. And Murda was like, look, from now on, I'm gonna be my own freaking protection. Now, a lot of people think that this is some gangster stuff, but at the same time, it can also be reckless. You know what I'm saying? Being your own protection and thinking that you have that kind of power and leaving yourself open to the attacks and some bullets too. You know what I'm saying? So he needs to brighten up and definitely have security, regardless of how much work he can put in on his own. Next, I need to mention real quick, guys, before I forget, because I did almost forget. While the mayhem was breaking out on stage, Keyshawn falls on the floor, and instead of trying to run out of there, she just takes cover, kind of like she's just on the floor covering herself. And guess who comes to the rescue? Her knight in shining armor. I'm talking about the true knight, not the white knight, the true knight, okay? And that is Diamond. He takes her off the stage and he asks her, is she good? And she says yes. And listen, before he can get away, she stole herself a kiss, honey. This seemed like it was a goodbye kiss, in my opinion. But guys, listen, if you watch my trailer breakdown for episode number 10, you would know that I kind of have some mixed feelings about Keyshawn now. I'm not sure if she's going to die. I kind of feel like maybe one of her babies or two of her babies are going to die. So We'll see. But a lot of the things that was happening in this episode seems like a last time for Keyshawn. Like life is about to end for her. Now, maybe it's just that life as she knows it is about to end and her life won't be taken. All right. But anyway, she steals a kiss from him. And listen, as much as Diamond probably wanted to pull away, this man's heart is for Keyshawn. Okay. He was not going to pull away. And unfortunately, we have Big Bone. She sees it. Okay. So we don't know if this girl is going to try to put a hex on Keyshawn or anything like that, because we see that she did get a hold of that ring. Maybe she dibble and dabble in some things too. All right. Because the ring was supposed to have her breastises all up in her back and her body all twisted up. And we see that that didn't happen. So maybe she dibbles and dabbles as well. And she knew how to unhex that root. But we shall find out, shan't we? Next, after trying to calm Murda down, which it really didn't work, okay, Uncle Clifford sees a box that's spilled over and it has some, I think it's Oxy. Whatever Big L and Duffy are selling, Uncle Clifford has finally seen it, okay? It's come to light now. So he goes and confronts Big L and he's like, how long you and this white boy been doing this, The bottom line is that Uncle Clifford, he don't want to be holding for nobody. He ain't about that plug life and he don't want it around. All right, Uncle Clifford is very against this, and part of me wonders if something happened to his mother that was related to drugs, okay? Can't wait to find out Uncle Clifford's backstory, guys. But anyway, he winds up firing Big L, which I totally disagree with. I said it last night. Uncle Clifford needs everyone in his corner that loves him and wants the best for him and that roots for him, okay? That's what he needs. Can't be firing Big L, okay? Of all people, sheesh. All right, so Big L was like, all right, you want to fire me? Fine, I quit. Like, how you going to fire me of all people? And then, when Big L was talking about snakes in the garden, Uncle Clifford going to have the nerve to call him a snake. And I'm like, really, Uncle Clifford? Like, come on now. This is definitely misguided anger. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do this to him of all people. Don't, okay? So, of course, Big L was like, I am the last snake in your garden. Like, are you bugging? Anyway, guys, so, Big L leaves, and I hope that they hash things out in the next episode, because we know daggone well they're like a dynamic duo in my eyes. So I just don't see them really ending it like that. And I just hope that Big L just knows that this was Uncle Clifford talking out of his behind. You know what I'm saying? But hey, shout out to Pretty Girl Loves Trap content. I mean, she did make a great point on the live last night, and she said, listen, Big L may mean well, but like, was he giving up any of those proceeds? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, maybe he was just holding it because he know daggone well that he couldn't tell Uncle Clifford what he was doing and how he was making the money. So I think it was a plan of Big L's to try to have enough money that if he needed to come to Uncle Clifford's rescue, he would, All right, so after Big L leaves, Uncle Clifford gets a call from the hospital, and he's like, I can't really hear you. And then he says, this is about my grandmother. And then that's it. So we don't know if grandmother Ernestine is dead or alive. Then we have the scene where Haley and her fake king going up in the house, getting ready to get it in, okay? But unfortunately, Brittany done showed up, guys. And my whole thing is, Brittany, what took you so daggone long? I don't know the time frame from when Andre went in there and found her doing what she was doing, but it seems like some time has passed, and I'm like, girl, what took you so long to come and get your man? Now the thing is Andre happy to see her? Will he choose his wife? Like, what is Brittany's motive? Like, why are you here, honey? That's what I want to know. Okay, and how is all this gonna work out for Haley? Now, of course, it's better, and it looks better for Andre, who's running for mayor or who might become mayor or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen, okay? It's better for him to have his wife by his side than to be found out that he has a mistress. And also, if Haley tells him that she's pregnant, I think that he's going to want to keep it a secret, because this is not something that should get out, okay? So definitely want to see what's going to happen with that. But I'm glad that she showed up when she did, because I just want anything to happen that's going to burst Haley's bubble. Sorry, Haley lovers, but that's where Miss K stands. Next, we get a scene where Keyshawn is writing on the mirror, and she leaves a little message for Mercedes, and she says, I'm your sister for life. And so Uncle Clifford comes out and he sees the message and he's like, what? Like, you leaving? This is how you gonna leave without even saying nothing to me? And Keyshawn was like, well, I didn't think you want to have anything to do with me, you know? And Uncle Clifford says, yeah, I don't. I didn't want nothing to do with you. But one thing I know, life is short, and more than that, it's unpredictable. So second chances is rarer than snow in Mississippi. So you go on and you fly now. Fly on away from here. And I don't ever want to see your beautiful face around here again. And the moment was beautiful, was bittersweet and everything, especially when you think that it might be the end of Mississippi, which I hope it's not, guys. But at the same time, I also don't want her babies to die either. Like, that's just, that's so sad, you know. But then, you know, she grabs Uncle Clifford and she holds him. And I honestly, guys, one of the reasons why I root for the Pynk to stay open is because I love the family vibes that they have, you know? So them hugging and hashing things out and Uncle Clifford not trying to hold a grudge. It's a beautiful moment here, but we don't know if this is really Keyshawn's last time being at the Pynk. You know what I'm saying? We saw Mercedes try to get out the Pynk and she wound up coming back. So who knows, guys? We'll see. So in the last scene, guys, while Uncle Clifford seems to be pretty emotional, he's sitting down and he sees the words that Keyshawn wrote about being a sister for life and everything. We also hear DJ Never Scared in the back, and he's talking about, are you ready? You know, like, ain't nothing shut the Pynk down because we just getting started and all of this stuff. And to be honest, for me, it's kind of eerie hearing his voice because we know that he doesn't work at the Pynk anymore. You know, he's been on the radio and stuff like that. So to hear his voice, for some reason, it just seemed off to me, like bad vibes. I don't know why. You know, you see Uncle Clifford crying and looking in the mirror. So it's like, are we just remembering old times? Is something going to happen? For me, it just made it seem like something was going to happen. All right, guys, but that is how the episode ended, and they hit us with a to be continued. So let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, you guys take care and be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.